The key word for today's lesson is solution. So as we are looking through our STAR questions, we always want to try to find keywords that'll help us figure out what we need to do for each problem. So today's word is solution. So as we can see right here, we see the word solution, and we're going to have two different methods that we can use when we see this word. So if we see just one equal sign, we're going to have a different method than if we see two equal signs. This means there is one equation, and so we're going to have to work the problems a little bit differently. So if we see just one equal sign like we do in this problem, we're actually going to look at our Desmos calculator. If you're not sure how to get to the Desmos calculator, make sure you watch the video on how to access it so you can practice along. And our goal for these problems is to graph each side of the equal sign and see where they're intersecting. If we can find where they intersect, then that will be our solution. So a lot of times when we're graphing, we're looking for intersection points. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph each side of this equation separately. So we're going to graph just the left side. Something to remember is that our calculator really likes x's. So anywhere we see a y for this problem, we're actually going to type an x into the graph whenever we graph it. So instead of doing 4 parentheses y, we're actually going to graph 4 parentheses x minus 3 plus 19. So anytime we graph, we want to do x's. Also, anytime we graph, we're going to want to graph y equals. So the first thing we're going to graph is y, get rid of this, y equals. So every time we're graphing y equals 4 parentheses x minus 3, close the parentheses, plus 19. So this is the whole left side of our equation only. So just what's in the blue right here. And all we did was change the variable to x. We're always going to want to type x in here because if we type y, we're already typing y equals once. It would confuse the calculator. So that's one side of our equal sign. We're good. We should see this is a blue color. That means there should be a blue line. If you ever can't see where it is, remember that you can zoom in and out using these things right here, or you can actually pinch the screen in and out just like you would on your phone. So that is one half of our equal sign. So the other half has to get graphed as well in order for us to see the intersection. So we're also going to graph this half of the equal sign. We're not going to graph the question mark, but we're going to graph, remember we always have to do y equals, and we're going to graph the right side. 8 parentheses, oh, I almost wrote y. Remember we're going to replace it with an x plus 3 plus 7. So we're going to graph on our second line here, y equals, because we're always going to type y equals first, 8 parentheses 2x plus 3 plus 7. And once I get this out of the way, we can see that we have a blue line and a green line that should be popping up. Remember, if you can't see it right away, just make sure we're zooming in and out until it pops up. And then we're going to zoom in on where they intersect. So where they intersect is where we find our solution. Remember that we plugged in x's over here. So our solution is going to be the x value. So our solution for this problem is going to be -2, because that is where they intersect. That is the x value of where they intersect. So key steps to remember. We're going to change all of our variables to x's. These could be any letters when they're written in the problem, but we're going to change them all to x's, and then we're going to graph just the left side, and we're going to graph just the right side on 2 separate lines. We found where they intersected, and then we looked at the x value. So that is the first type of problem that we're going to do. The second type of problem that we could see is like this one right here. So this question actually has the word solution. So we see the word solution, which is good, but we see 2 equal signs this time. So we could graph these, but notice that when I try to type something in like this, 6y plus x is equal to -59. Notice this little error message right here. The star version of Desmos blocks you from being able to graph stuff like this. You have to get it to y equals form, which is a lot of extra work. So instead, what we're going to use when we have two equal signs is we're actually going to go to our TI Nspire or our handheld calculator. So we have two equal signs. We're going to go to our handheld calculators. This is one of the only times we're actually going to use our handheld calculators. Mostly everything else can be done in Desmos. But if we see solution and we see two equal signs, we're going to go to our handheld calculators. The first thing we always want to do on these is we want to open a new document. So you can go down here and open a new calculator, or you can go to new. Do not use either one of these two options. Scratchpad does not function the way that we like. So we're going to go to new and always say no. We don't want to save anything. And then we're going to add a calculator. Oh, let me fix that. We're going to add a calculator, option number 1. So our goal here is to solve or find the solution for these two systems of equations. So to do that, we're going to go to menu. We're in algebra, so this is the only option we should be using on this calculator. And then we see solve system of equations. Notice here we see solution, system of equations. The words match up. So we're going to go to algebra, solve system of equations. We're going to tell it how many equations we have. We know we have 2 because we have 2 equal signs. And the variables that we're using on this problem are x and y. If you're using any other variables, which sometimes happens, you can change the letters here or you can change them later on. We're just going to hit OK, or you guys could hit enter. And then it gives us these 2 separate boxes right here. So each one of these boxes is for one of my full equations. So I'm going to type in the first one, which is 6y plus x. And notice how I don't have to change anything here because I'm not graphing. Is equal to negative 59. And then this one, we're going to type in x equals negative 2y plus 9. So always double check that both of these are exactly like they were over here. Also make sure that these 2 letters match these 2 letters. So if you needed to change it, you could just click over here and you could backspace and change these letters if you needed to, but they're exactly what we need, so we're going to leave them alone. Once everything is typed in exactly how it's written on your paper, you're going to hit enter, and it gives us our answer right here. So our solution is the point 43, negative 17. What that means is on our question, it's going to ask specifically either for the full point, or it might just ask you for just the value of x or just the value of y. Notice for this problem, it only asked for the value of y. So if we have a point 43, negative 17, we're only going to need the value of y, which was negative 17. Be careful though, because notice they had 43 in there as well to trick you. So be very careful about what they ask you for. We're going to do some more practice today. Just a quick reminder of what we did. If we have one equation or one equal sign, we are going to go to the Desmos calculator, and we're going to graph both sides of the equal sign and find the x value of the intersection. If we have 2 equal signs, we're going to go to the TI Nspire or your handheld calculator, and you're going to go to menu, algebra, and that option number 2, you'll plug both of your functions in or both of your equations in and find their intersection. And that is it for today.